Hey guys, it's Sam. Welcome back to my channel. So it is like January 22nd or something like that. Honestly, I haven't sat down and filmed for you guys since probably like the end of December. So before I get into all of the stuff that's going to be like actually talked about that you actually probably clicked on this for, I'm just going to talk to you guys, like it'll be like brief about what's been going on with me. So December was crazy. You guys will all know that. I talked about it a ton. Just like with all the family stuff and all of like our friends and stuff like that. So on New Year's Eve, we drove about an hour north to go to a New Year's Eve party for two of our friends that are moving, or they have now since moved to Calgary. Originally, I wasn't going to do anything for New Year's Eve because I had to get up and work at 6:30 the next morning on New Year's Day. And I had said, you know, I'm not staying up past midnight. I'm just too tired. I don't want to, whatever. And then they kind of mentioned, sorry, a lot of you guys complain that I play with my hair a lot. It's like a nervous habit. So then they had all of a sudden told us that they were going to have a thing. And we were like, and I kind of said, okay, you know what? It's going to be the last time we see them probably before they leave. And it ended up, it was the last time we saw them. I'll go, I'll drive. I won't drink. And I said, but we got to leave by 1 o'clock in the morning. Which we did. Like, to our credit, we probably left around like 12:40 or something like that. And drove home. Now, there was really bad rain that night, so it was really icy, and I just started feeling really sick on the way home. I don't know what was going on with me. Tom was with me, but he had been drinking, so I was driving, and I just wasn't feeling great. I don't know what it was, and like literally the second we got home, I like ran up the stairs and got really, really sick. We probably got home around like 2, I want to say around 2 in the morning. So by the time I actually like wound down and went to bed, it was probably 2:30. Woke up in the morning, was just exhausted, but I went to work. I trucked it through the whole day, and it was all good and whatever. So on New Year's Eve, so I guess on like the 31st, I started to feel a little like tingling on my lips, just like here a little bit. And I do suffer from cold sores, unfortunately. So I kind of warned Tom. I said, listen, it's not a guarantee, because I felt it before and it hasn't been cold sores. It's been like a zit or just like a dry lip or something like that. And I said, I think I'm getting a cold sore, but no guarantees. Now, keep in mind, December was the month that I filmed my MAC collection lipstick swatch video. So I had swatched like over 150 lipsticks on my lips. They were raw, they were sore. And then I went to Megan's house, and Megan wasn't feeling very well when I was there. And I'm allergic to her dog, so there was that. So there was like a whole lot of stuff going on, and the weather was cold, so my lips were probably chapped as it was. So I think that all just kind of like amalgamated together. So I started getting the cold sore on New Year's Eve, and then I noticed I was getting one up top. Now, normally when I get them, I get like a small little one right here, and it's like the 10 days. So that's how long they last for. From the day you get it to the day that they're supposedly completely gone, it's supposed to be 10 days. So I got the one here, which ended up turning into 2 here, and somehow also hopped to my upper lip, and I got another smaller one on my upper lip as well. So like my whole, like this half of my mouth was just swollen and sore and painful, and my face swelled up quite a bit, and that was painful. So like I couldn't sleep with my mouth guard in because it would bother it. I couldn't, you know, if you've ever had them, like even when they start healing, if you cough or sneeze or laugh or, you know, eat and open your mouth too loud, they break. So mine kept breaking, and they were disgusting. And like people, like I've never had them that bad before. And it's like people stare at them because they see them and they can't help it. Like they, you know, and I know they don't mean anything by it. Nobody's trying to hurt my feelings or anything like that. But it made me really like, I kind of shut myself in a little bit for January. Unless I was going to work, I didn't leave the house very much because I was just so embarrassed about it. And it was just so bad. And like, I knew people were staring and that they couldn't help it. And, you know, I didn't wear makeup at all because, you know, you try and cover it with makeup and ultimately it just makes it worse. And you're also just putting more into it and taking like a longer heal time. You won't be able to see it now because I do have lipstick on. It's healed, but like there are still red marks here on my lip and here on my lip. It kind of similar to like if you get a scab like anywhere else in your body and then the scab falls off and the skin underneath is just very new, so it's very pink. It's the same thing. So it is finally gone away. So today was my first day off of work since it's been completely gone. So I'm trying to film a bunch of videos and catch up. Thankfully, I had filmed a ton of backlog of videos, some of which I haven't even gotten out to you guys at this point. So I'm going to do a ton of editing and stuff tonight. I have to pull an all-nighter because I'm on nights tomorrow night. So I have to go out of the house for a little bit tonight. And then when I get home, I'm just going to stay up all night and edit video and try and get some stuff uploaded for you guys because I know I've been dropping the ball on this. Hence why this video is coming out so late. It is late in January. But you guys had asked me to film my favorites from 2018. And originally I did film it with Megan, but honestly, a lot of the stuff that I talked about, I'd only had 1 or 2 experiences with. And since then, I have tried it a couple more times and maybe it's not my favorite anymore, or it definitely is my favorite now, or I've discovered some new things about stuff. So I wanted to refilm it and kind of bring it back out for you guys. I know it's really late and I am sorry for that. So it's been 6 minutes of me ranting. So now I'm just going to start getting into it. So we're going to start obviously kind of where I'm going to kind of go in the order I would put my makeup on, I suppose, to talk about this for the most part. So first we're going to talk about primers. So there are 3 primers that also, this is not makeup that came out this year necessarily. Some of it might be brand new makeup that came out this year. It's just makeup that I experienced for the first time in 2018. So we're going to talk about primers. So these first 2 primers that are my favorites are both Becca primers. So I have the Backlight Priming Filter and also the Firstlight Priming Filter. I absolutely adore both of these. Now, these are both in the like travel size because they are quite expensive to get the full size one. And if a product is offered in travel size, 9 times out of 10, I'll get the travel size one and try that out first because you're not committed to quite as long. And then if you don't like it at all, you're like, okay, well, at least I didn't spend this much more money on it. So but I do love both of these. So when these are gone, I'm going to use more. So this one is kind of like a mixture between a primer and like almost a strobing cream. It's got, it just like spat out at me. It's kind of like this champagne-y color. When you put it on, it's just got this like beautiful sheen to it. Makes you look, your skin look more healthy, more awake. This is a big hit for me in the summer. I use a lot of strobing creams. I like that dewy, glowy kind of look. So this is right up my alley. And the other one, the Firstlight Priming Filter, it's one of those purple ones. I mean, it doesn't really do much other than that. It's super, like here, I'll show you. Do you guys see a little bit where I put it right there? So it's not quite as pearlescent as the Backlight Priming Filter because that one does have like micro beads in it, or not micro beads, like micro pearls and reflex in it that could make it almost like a highlighter. But this one is more of like a brightening one. So it's also super moisturizing. The consistency of this is a lot thinner than the other one. But I have this one on today. My skin has just been super dry and it just kind of makes your skin feel more awake. And what I really like about these is no matter what foundation I put over them, it doesn't seem to have an effect on it. And I have had that problem with some primers in the past, is that like if you use like a primer from this specific brand, it only really works with a foundation from that specific brand. It won't work with all of them, which is kind of a shame because, you know, you don't always want to match up like that. The other primer that I have been loving is this Pure Correcting Primer. This is the Hydrate and Balance. So I picked this one up at the Shoppers Drugstore because I used to love the Smashbox like the photo finish primers, but I liked the blue hydrating one because my face is so dry. So when I found out they discontinued that, I was really upset. And I thought that if I got this, it would maybe do a similar thing to that. When I filmed this video in December to talk to you guys about this, I said that this one kind of reacted funny with some moisturizers and stuff, but I ended up finding out that it wasn't this that was the problem. I had a Too Faced Hangover Primer that I love, but it was just a little old. So when you'd put it on your face and like let it sit, if you rubbed your face, it would kind of like peel off in these little bits, almost like dried on glue. I ended up throwing it out because obviously it was too old. But that's kind of what I mean. Like, so I thought that it was this doing it and it turns out it wasn't. And this stuff, again, is just amazing. So it's kind of like in a gel kind of consistency. It's a little thicker, which is really nice. But it just literally feels like you just like splashed your face with water. It is so amazing. I love it so much. And much like the Becca primers, it doesn't react funny under any makeup. Well, I thought it did, but then it turned out it didn't. So that's kind of, sorry, dropping stuff on the floor. That's one of the reasons I wanted to refilm this because, like I said, cut off a little bit. Turns out that my SD card storage is full, so I had to switch to my internal phone storage. So hopefully I have got enough storage to get through the rest of this video. I just might have missed the cutoff of the primer that I was talking about, but we're going to get into foundations next. So I was saying that the one I filmed in December, I actually had another foundation that I was talking about. Come to find out, I don't quite like it as much as I thought I did. I don't have a problem with it, but it's not one that I want to sit here and rant and rave about and tell you guys to go out and get it because I just don't know that it's as much of my favorite as I thought it was. So on the lines of a priming kind of thing, I have this. It is a MAC Prep and Prime Pore Refiner Stick. So it's just clear, and basically all it does is it kind of like blurs out. I just put a little bit right there. You can't even see it. It's completely clear, but what I do find it does is kind of blurs out a lot of my pores. I like to use it kind of up in my T-zone, a little bit on my nose, just where my pores are really, really bad. And again, like the other primers, this one can go under or over a primer, under any foundation. I've never had a problem with it. It's not oily. It's not anything. It literally just kind of blurs out the appearance of your pores. I'm not sure if it's like filling them quite like a pore filling primer would do or sort of just hazing them out. But either way, it works really, really well. And something else that I noticed, and I don't know if it's just this and something else I'm going to be talking about later, MAC has started kind of putting little pieces of foam in the top of their lids. And I don't know what the reason is for that. I don't know if it's to keep moisture in here, or Megan had kind of speculated that she thought it might be for traveling purposes to make it a little bit more stable. I don't really know the reason, but there's that. So for foundation, the one I am going to show you guys is this NARS foundation. This is their Sheer Glow foundation. I wear the shade Medium 1.5 in Velouris or something like that. I absolutely adore this. It is a super lightweight foundation, which is right up my alley. I don't wear a lot of like full coverage foundations. I like a light to medium coverage. I love anything that has a little bit of glow to it. This just looks so natural on the skin. It blends in so flawlessly. And if I kind of have like a little like brain like meh. If I want to mix this in with, say, like my Marc Jacobs Dewdrops, or I also have these like Too Faced Fresh Squeeze drops, it blends in with those beautifully. It doesn't screw up the formula of the foundation. It is very, very long wearing. I will say that sometimes I notice that it wears kind of like under my nose a little bit, but that's about it. And I think that could be said of anything. And also, I've mostly been trying this out in the winter when I've had like a lot of nosebleeds and like a lot of runny noses. So that also could just be me like touching tissues to my nose. I'm not too sure. I absolutely love this. The one thing that I will say I dislike about this is that it doesn't have a pump. I don't know what the reason is. Could somebody please explain this to me? Why is it that like some NARS foundations have a pump and others don't have a pump, yet they sell the pump as a separate piece? Like I think I have it in here. I did recently pick up the pump for this. Like literally it came to me yesterday. So I will be putting that in here. I don't mind dumping it out, but sometimes like it's really hard to like, you kind of go too much and you don't want to waste it, or it's hard to, I don't know. Regardless of what the reason is, I did buy a pump for this. That is my one like annoyance with this product though, is that it doesn't come with a pump. And also the lid, once you unscrew it, it like never really seems like it goes back on kind of how it was in the first place. And I'm afraid that if I twist this on much further, I'm going to break the glass. So there is that. Another NARS product that I've been loving, you're going to see a lot of NARS in here because I've just started opening up to this brand, is this liquid bronzer. This is the Laguna liquid bronzer. It has a pump. Can you see that? Which is really nice. So this bronzer is fantastic. I have the powder one as well. I love the shade. It works really well for my skin tone. And as you guys know, I do fake bake, but I haven't in a while, so I'm pretty pale right now. But normally I do a tan in a tanning bed. So a lot of times some of my foundations that work for me, like right now when I'm a little bit fairer, don't work as well once I have a tan. So I like to mix this in with my foundations. I also prefer this, I find, to a powder bronzer a lot of the time, because for whatever reason, and I don't know if this is with everybody, the liquid just kind of melts into your face a little bit better, and looks a little more natural. I find that bronzing powders sometimes can look a little cakey, can look a little patchy if you apply them kind of like more heavy-handed in one area than another, then you're working to blend it. So this stuff can be used as a standalone, just as a bronzer, like you could just use it to contour or whatever, or how I like to use it, I like to mix it in with my foundations. It works really, really well with that NARS foundation. Honestly, I haven't found a foundation yet that this doesn't work with. It is very, very fluid, I will say that. So it drips a lot, and like this is a clean version of what this pump looks like, but it's normally quite a bit messier. That's the only reason I don't really know how I would use this like just as a standalone, because it is so runny. I find that it does need to be mixed in with foundation to give it a little bit more substance, but I really, really, really like that. So the next thing I'm going to talk to you guys about is the brow product that I've been loving the most this year. This is this MAC Shape and Shade Brow Tint. You can tell I haven't filmed for a while. I'm not used to sitting in front of the camera anymore. I wear the shade Fling. So what this is it has like a felt tip marker on one end, very fine point, and on the other end is like a little, I think it's powder in here. Like there's a little dish of like powder, and then it's got like a sponge applicator, and this does screw on, so it stays on really, really well, so you don't need to worry about it like popping off or anything like that. When I first got this, I was a little bit afraid to use it because with the marker, I'm just showing you my brows now because that's how I filled my brows in today. When I first got the marker, I was like, oh, that's going to look super obvious and super drawn on, but it ends up not. Like as long as you're really, really like nice and light with your brush strokes. Now keep in mind, I don't know how this would be for a darker shade. This is because I have such a fair shade of eyebrows, or a light shade, I guess. It works really well, and it ends up looking really natural and almost like just natural hairs. And then I like to sort of use the marker to line my brows to exactly where I want them. Then I fill in. This is really the only area I need filled in. This part of my brows is actually quite full. It's just here that I'm a little bit sparse. So I like to fill in all of that. And then I take the powder and very lightly kind of tap it down and spread it out in an outward kind of motion. Just to finish it off. And then the one thing that I will say about this is I wish there was like a third end that had like a spoolie, because I do like to comb it through afterwards just to make sure it's even and that there's no chunks anywhere. I wish I had a spoolie, but obviously there isn't another end for that. So I can use a spoolie from another eyeshadow, or not eyeshadow, eye brush thing instead, and I'm okay. Onto concealers. So this is not a concealer. What this is a Becca Under Eye Brightening Cream. I absolutely love this. It's got this like pink tone to it. It doesn't conceal, but what it does is it just like, especially for somebody like me, I have really bad dark circles. I don't sleep very well. Okay, I do and I don't. Like I will, when I want to go to sleep, I sleep, but like I'm always tired and I'm always feeling like I should be sleeping more, but there's not enough hours in the day. So this just kind of like gives your dark circles a little bit of like previous coverage and a little bit of pre-brightening almost before you throw a concealer over top. Now I have also used it under a foundation and it has the same effect, but I just like to take it with my finger and just sort of tap it on, give it a minute to kind of just like dry down, and then I'll put a concealer over top, and I do find that it does have quite the brightening effect. So the concealer that I'm going to show you guys is another NARS product. This is their Radiant Creamy Concealer. I am in light 2.5 Creme Brulee, and half the reason during filming with Megan, she was super excited about this is because normally when we talk about makeup or Megan gets new makeup or wants recommendations for makeup, she asks me and I'm the one who tells her because I have more makeup, I have more experience with different products, so I can tell her what'll work and what won't. She had this before me. She is the one that told me how amazing it was and that I needed to try it. So I know she's super proud of herself for getting me onto a new makeup product that I hadn't tried before. So I absolutely love this. The one thing I will say about this is that I find you don't get a lot on the brush at any one given time. Like I have to do one eye, dip in, do another eye, dip in, do around my chin. And that's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a pain in the butt because obviously it takes a little bit more time to keep sticking the wand in and out. And every time you push the wand in and out of the case, much like with mascara, you are introducing more air into the product. But it's also nice because you're not wasting your product by getting too much on the wand and putting too much on your eyes and then having to blend it out everywhere. It works so well. It doesn't crease up at all. Like you guys can see how bad my under eyes are right now, but it doesn't crease up. It's not super obvious that it's there. It works everywhere. Like it covered a lot of the blemishes that I had going on my chin, not completely, but it's like a full coverage concealer without the cakiness or the weightiness of some out there that I've seen. And I've tried some cream concealers. I have a couple of them, and I like to use those for heavier duty days, but I do find that they look a lot more obvious, and I find that this one will cover just as well as some of those ones will. So really happy. The unfortunate thing is it is a little on the pricey side, as most NARS stuff is that I've talked about today. I'm going to list all the products down below and all of their prices so you guys can kind of decide for yourself, but it is a really, really great product if it's something that you're looking for. We're going to talk about this because it's kind of the last like non-fun makeup-y thing that I have to show you guys, and that is this. Now, I also have the normal Laura Mercier translucent setting powder, and I absolutely adore it. This is the translucent setting powder glow. So the difference with this is it sets clear, translucent, whatever you want to call it, but it's just got a little bit of like pearlescence to it. I'm just going to try not to waste it and try not to dump the whole thing out. There we go. So that's what it looks like there. I'm going to put it on here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So it is translucent, but what it does is it kind of just gives you like a little bit of like a glow almost. It's not quite a sparkle like another product that I have that I'm not going to talk about, but it's not quite like a glitter or a sparkle. It's just like a luminescence that just goes over your whole face. It brightens up your under eyes. If you only wanted to use that in certain key points and then use the normal translucent setting powder, which is matte, you definitely could, but I don't mind using it all over my face. I like that glowy look, and I find that the sun just picks up those little pearlescent reflex so beautifully. It is absolutely stunning, and because it's the same, it's virtually the same product. It does the exact same thing to the same extent that the other Laura Mercier one does, and that is like a cult favorite. So if you like that one and you're looking for a little bit more of like a glowy option, I know that you will love that one as well. Now let's talk about, okay, I have one highlighting product we're going to talk about, and then we're going to talk about all of the lip products I have, because that is the heaviest part of this video. So the highlighting product that I have is this Hourglass, what's this even called? Vanish highlight in Gold Flash. So this comes in 5 colors. It is in the triangle one, which is the same as their foundation, which I also do have. This is absolutely stunning. I'm just going to put a bit of it here. You guys see that? It is the most beautiful highlight. It's super weightless. Even though it's cream, it's like a cream to powder finish. It blends out beautifully. And I love the edges of this. This is one of my favorite things about Hourglass, is the shape of their product, because with the edges, you can do down your nose, you can get in your Cupid's bow, you could virtually like turn it on its edge and do up under your eyebrows if you wanted. And then it also has the flat edge for you to do up your cheekbones and stuff. And like I said, it does blend out seamlessly. I know there's always a worry with using a cream kind of a highlight that it's going to be super stark and super obvious that it's a cream. But this one just like, it almost just turns into powder, just melds beautifully into the skin. It looks so natural. I want to go back and get more colors, but I'm trying to behave myself and not do that quite yet, but it'll probably happen soon. Let's talk about lipsticks. There are quite a few that I'm loving. Don't be afraid by how many are in my hands. A lot of them are the same, just different colors that I want to be able to show you guys. So let's talk about the one kind of bullet lipstick that I absolutely adore. These are the MAC Powder Kiss lipsticks. I did a video swatching these, I believe. If I did, I'll link it here when I got them. They're definitely in my MAC lip swatch video if they're not there, which may or may not be up at this point. Keep an eye out for that as well. Anyway, these are fantastic. They came in, I think, 12 colors. The outsides of them are a little bit more matte kind of than the normal cases, which are shimmery. They smell fantastic. They have that normal vanilla scent, and they're kind of like, I don't know, like they look different, right? Like they look just different in the tube. They look super drying, and they're not at all. They're kind of like a combination between a lip balm and a matte, like a retro matte. It's so hard to explain because they are very pigmented. Now, are they as pigmented as like a retro matte normally is? No, you would need to apply a couple coats with this, but they're so smooth to go on. And honestly, I think there is something in here that's like soothing to the lips in a weird way. They taste really good. Like if you do happen to like lick your lip or whatever, they just taste like vanilla. But they are just so comfortable to wear. I have them in 6 shades. I'll just show you a couple really quickly. I think I already showed you that one. But they do come in many, many more, and they're just the most comfortable lipstick that I've ever worn probably in my life. Like these ones, because they are like a lip balm. Well, at least of the MAC ones, because they're like a lip balm, but they're matte at the same time. So it's not like a glossy finish or a creamy finish where you're getting a lot of sheen or something. They're still completely matte. So if you're like me and you like the look of a matte lipstick without the feeling of it completely drying out your lips, you will absolutely love these. And this is what I was talking about again, where they have the little bit of foam in the bottom. Again, I don't know the reason. I don't know if it's just to keep these like creamy and moist, to keep them from drying out, to keep any excess. I don't know the reason. If somebody knows the reason, please inform me of so, because I don't know why they put the foam in there. I like it. I'm okay with it. I just don't know why. Next, we're going to talk about the Too Faced Melted Mattes. I know that these are not new. I know they've been out for a very long time, but I only just found them this past year. So I have 5 colors and some of them are like virtually the same. Again, I just love these so much. The applicator is just a traditional doe foot applicator. They're so pigmented though, and they go on so smoothly and so comfortably. Got a phone call halfway in between this and I had to stop and start, so I don't know exactly where I was, but these are really, really smooth. They're super pigmented. They go on really easily because the wand is smaller. It's very good to get lines. They do the normal wear thing where they just kind of wear in the middle, like when you're eating and drinking, stuff like that. But one of the nice things about these is that when you relayer them after you eat or drink, they don't get chunky, which a lot do, and they're not super drying. And they actually take a little longer to dry than a lot of other liquid lipsticks I have. Like I know like the MAC Retro Matte ones, they're fantastic. They stay on all day, but they dry so quickly that it's really hard to make a mistake. Well, it's easy to make a mistake. It's hard to fix said mistake. So like if you went outside your lip line with the MAC ones, a lot of them are staining. These ones are not quite as bad. And that also could be because I have a lot of neutral colors, but that's just my experience with them. The other, there's another one in my lap, but another one that I love are these Anastasia Beverly Hills ones. I just got turned on to these like near the end of the year and they are so, so good. Much like the Too Faced ones, they have a different shaped thing. It's more of just a straight doe foot applicator. But again, very, very nice. These are really, really like a thin formula. So like you put it on and you feel like it's not even there. It's completely like weightless almost. They have a ton of colors. Again, really long lasting, just wear in the middle a little bit. But you know, that's expected of most lipsticks. If you're doing some eating or drinking or wearing it to dinner or going out with them, you're going to have to reapply. And again, because the consistency of these is so thin and almost like, I don't want to say watery, but like in that kind of a realm more than so like a creamy thick thing, because it's so thin, when you reapply it to cover up areas that you might have missed, it's so smooth. It goes on so well and it doesn't chunk up also. And that is the same for these. So I have a little one and then I have a full size one. These are these NARS Powermatte lip pigments. The coolest thing about these is the applicator by far. No other company I've ever seen has an applicator quite like this. It's like a little thin thing and it comes to a point and it's kind of rounded, makes it really easy to get those lines, and you can turn it on its side to do wider swipes of certain areas. I haven't worn this one yet, but I have worn this red one a couple times and I love it. It is so pigmented. It's like a one swipe kind of lipstick. I was a little bit worried because again, it has a watery consistency. I was worried that it would take like a lot of like painting on your lips and drying and like you know what I mean? Where you have to do multiple coverages or multiple, what are coats? Coats the word I'm looking for. Like when you paint, do you know what I'm talking about? A lot of them you would have to do like multiple coats with, but with these ones, it's like a one and done kind of thing. They're so comfortable to wear. Like of the ones I've talked about, these are by far my favorite. Again, they are pretty freaking expensive, which is unfortunate. It's why I only have the 2 so far, but I am going to expand that collection shortly at some point. I don't know when. I absolutely adore them though. And again, they come in so many colors. I feel like everything NARS does is really, really good. I haven't found a product of theirs yet that I haven't liked, which is pretty awesome, I gotta say. So really, really happy about that. Really excited about that. Now we are going to talk about probably the most fun thing for the year, and that is eyeshadow palettes. So the eyeshadow palettes I'm going to show you actually all were released, I believe, this past year in 2018, and I picked them all up. You guys will know I'm not sponsored by anything. I don't get any PR packages. Everything I've been showing you, I bought with my own money, my own hard-earned money, as much as that like is distraughting or like to other people that I spend so much on makeup. It is what I love. So I do it. So I have 5 palettes to show you guys. So I'm just going to start here. So I got the Huda Beauty Nude, the new Nude palette. It is stunning. If you have tried her products before, you'll know how amazing they are. They do these like really cool, like glittery foiled shadows that are just absolutely stunning. Now mine all have like white chunks in them. I don't know if that's the way it was supposed to be, but I'm kind of just rolling with it. The mattes are really, 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 really creamy mattes. They're all super blendable. There's no chalkiness. And what I really like about this palette that I have not seen a palette do, at least in my experience, is this shade right here. This is called Concealed, and it's actually like a cream base. So I don't know if it's meant to be... No, it is a concealer base. So I was going to say, I don't know if it's meant to be a real concealer because like... that makes no sense. It would maybe work for me because I'm fair, but obviously for most people it wouldn't work. But it's really nice because they give you like an eyeshadow base in here. So if you didn't have a lid primer of your own or like another one you like to use, this one came full out with one. One thing I will say about this is a lot of the colors do remind me quite a bit of like the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette or even I guess a little bit the Naked Cherry palette. I don't know. Did I need this? Probably not. Am I happy I have it? Absolutely. I have not used every shade in here. I've only used it a couple times because I have bought so many eyeshadow palettes lately, but I love it. It blends so well. You get so many beautiful looks. I do find that the glitters and stuff, people say use a glitter glue. I've never used one. I always just use my finger and pat it down. If you were worried about the like glitters budging, maybe get a glitter glue or get some kind of like even a liquid eyeshadow or something like that, and then pat it on over top and let it dry down, and that would work as well. But it is fantastic. This palette is kind of like, of the palettes I have, it's probably like in the middle of the range of pricing. So the next one that I got is a Too Faced palette. This is the Too Faced Gingerbread Spice palette, and I absolutely adore this palette. It's a lot of warm kind of colors, but what I like about it is that there's some pops of color in here as well. You've got the bright pinks. This green is absolutely stunning. A couple purples. And it gives you a pretty good variety, I think, of some like lighter shades just to start like building your thing up with some crease colors and some bright like fun lid toppers or for your under eye or pops of color. One thing I will say that I'm not a huge fan, although it's funny because in the pan, when I'm looking at it on the camera, this color looks the same as that, but in the pan on its own, they're nothing alike. Could they have gone a little bit more drastic? Sure, they could have, but to stick with the gingerbread theme, it would have been difficult. They give you a good variety of mattes and of shimmers in here, and if you know Too Faced products, if you have their chocolate bar palettes, or if you have the Sweet Peach palette, the shadow quality is the same. Too Faced never seems to fail when they put these palettes out. This one smells like gingerbread. I personally was super amped to get it because I can't use the chocolate bar palettes because I'm allergic to cocoa powder. So this was a good alternate for me. Although I'm told that this is a lot like the chocolate gold palette. So if that's the case, then maybe you don't need both. I love the packaging of all of these. They're so sturdy. It makes you feel like you could definitely travel with them. And I don't want to blind you guys, but like I like that there's like the little character up by the mirror as well. Super, super cute palette. Another one that I love is this Urban Decay Born to Run palette. I absolutely love Urban Decay. They're one of my favorite brands, and I'm just obsessed with this palette. I just think it has something for everybody. It's got your neutrals. It has tons of pops of colors. It is both cool and warm at the same time. Like, I don't know that there's anything that they missed on in this palette because, like, I was looking at it being like, oh, there's no really golden colors, but this color is almost like a gold. It's just a darker gold. They've got the black, they have some greens, some purples, some pinks, some blues, like literally a little bit of everything in here. And I just adore it. It comes in a pretty sturdy case. And one of my favorite things, and I've said it before in the video I filmed before, is that this folds all the way behind so that it has a huge mirror on it, which is great. Say you're traveling with this and you don't bring a mirror with you, you have a mirror right there. But if you don't, you could just lay it flat like that and just get at the colors that way or like that. You're not struggling to hold a palette and balance it with the mirror open. I really like that it does fold in on itself without ruining any part of the packaging at all. And because I just said it, let's talk about the packaging. It is absolutely stunning. I love to travel. I love history. So it's really cool to me that they took all of these different pictures from all of these different places in the world and kind of put them on here. It's almost like they were marketing this as like your travel palette. Like if you were going to go anywhere in the world and you needed one palette, this is the one to bring. And I actually could imagine that like when Tom and I go to the Dominican this year, this might be the palette that comes with me, because I think you can do so much with it. You can get a lot of like more neutral looks for everyday wear. But if I wanted to have fun, if we were going out one night and I had like a really fun, colorful dress or a white dress on and wanted my makeup to stand out, there's like these purples and stuff that could be a lot of fun as well. The quality of the shadows in here, since I haven't mentioned it, is awesome. It's a good mix again of like really, really creamy matte, some satin, some shimmers, blends beautifully. And I feel like maybe with the exception of these two colors here, they did a really good job of making a variety of colors. There's not too much of like any duplications in here, which is really, really nice. Next palette we're going to talk about, I actually did film a tutorial on with you guys. It is the Violet Voss Flamingo eyeshadow palette. I originally bought this. You guys are going to like almost be ashamed of me. I originally bought this palette because I wanted really badly, more than anything, the Natasha Denona Tropic palette. I really wanted it, but I couldn't rationalize spending $162 on a freaking palette. That just seemed like so much. I think this one was like in the $50 or $60 range, and it has more shadows, has a lot of fun colors in it. I'm just going to show you again, a lot of mattes, a lot of shimmers. They all work beautifully. This is kind of the one color that kind of like makes no sense in this palette, but at the same time, it's kind of nice to have because maybe you need it as a liner, maybe you need it as this. Like, I don't know. I just think the palette would maybe be, you know, maybe, I don't know, they could have put a bright blue in there. I think that's all this palette's really missing is a bright, bright blue. So I bought this because I said I wanted a really fun, colorful palette. And this palette did not disappoint. I loved the look I got out of it. So many of you guys did as well. It works so well. Like, they blend so well. So I bought this so that I wouldn't get the Natasha Denona Tropic palette. And then I bought the Natasha Denona Tropic palette. I have a little bit of buyer's remorse over doing this, and I have for a while. I cannot put this in my 2018 video because I actually got this in 2019, but I'm just showing you that I did end up buying it. And since they're both sitting in front of me, I can kind of compare the colors. And I can sit here and say, like, with confidence that, like, they're different enough that I don't feel... They have a lot of similar colors, but they're also different enough that I don't feel that bad about them. You know, like I said, I have a bit of buyer's remorse knowing how much I spent on this, but it's done now and I do love it. So what can I do? But if you're looking for a bright, colorful palette, I definitely like fully back this one. Maybe, like, I can't say for sure if this one, like, let's be honest, the Natasha Denona one, Natasha Denona shadow quality is like bar none. It's freaking amazing. Is it so much more amazing than these? I don't honestly know because I haven't used it that much yet. But these will do the trick, especially if, you know, you don't have $162 to spend on your palette. You can get 3 of these palettes for less than that. You know what I mean? If you don't have that kind of money, this will definitely do the trick for anybody. And that brings me to another thing that I did, and that is this Natasha Denona palette that I bought. This is an all matte palette. This is the Safari palette. The only thing that really bothers me about it is that this case is getting scratched to hell, which is really pissing me off. But it's really pretty. So it is, as its name suggests, an all matte palette. And they're really pretty. And a lot of my experience with Natasha Denona shadows was with her shimmers, which I knew I loved. I didn't really know how her mattes wore. And honestly, when I first looked at this palette online, I was like, yeah, there's nothing that special about it. It just looks like another neutral, whatever kind of palette. And I wasn't that jazzed by it. And then I saw ShanXO talking about it. And I saw... Tati talking about it, and even Jessica Braun talked about it, and everybody was saying how amazing these matte shadows were and how this was one of their favorite palettes and how they were getting so much looks out of it. And I would watch the looks they did and be like, I want to be able to do that too. So I bit the bullet and I went and I splurged, although I've done it again, on myself, and I bought the palette. And I am, again, as much as it hurts me a little bit that I spent so much on a palette, I don't, like, I have a little buyer's remorse, but at the same time, I don't regret it because it is amazing. I think I would only really regret it if, like, I had bought something super expensive and it sucked or it didn't live up to the hype, but this completely does live up to the hype. Am I saying you need to go out there and buy this palette? No, absolutely not. I'm not saying that. But say you get a Sephora gift card, it's your birthday, and you get a Sephora gift card, or you do make a little bit more money and it's not a big deal to buy it, or even if you don't make a lot more money like me and you save and you save and you save and you decide you really want to treat yourself, you won't regret buying this. It is fantastic. Like I said, the mattes are not chalky. The color range, now that I have it, I really, really like it. I think they go together in a lot of different ways. They blend really well. Nothing ever gets muddied up with this. It's fantastic. It just costs a lot of money. So those are all of my favorites, I think, for 2018. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want to shame me a little bit for saying I would never buy another Natasha Denona palette, and then I did, feel free to. I feel bad about it in a way because I know how much they cost me, but at the same time, like I said, my channel is makeup and I do want to be able to experience as much of it as I can, and I am really happy that I am fortunate enough that I get to experience those, because I think it is a gift. And you know, a lot of it too is like, not that those bigger makeup channels don't deserve it, but they all get their stuff all sent to them. So they can sit there and like, be like, oh, this is amazing, like this and that, knowing that they didn't spend the money on it. And I think because I spent the money on it, it just makes it that much more special and more amazing to me, because I did put my hard-earned money into these palettes and they're working so well for me, and I'm actually so happy that I did it, that it means that the palette is that much more invaluable, like, to me. So if you like this kind of a video and maybe you want to see me do favorites every month or something like that, because like I said, there are new things I have bought this month since like 2019 started. If you guys want to see a favorites video every month, or what I don't like every month or something like that, let me know down below. If you like this kind of video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye.